I've been really looking forward to recording this video. First of all, happy September and happy Virgo season. We've been in Virgo season for a little bit now, but the start of September for me really feels like Virgo season energy full on. Usually because it's the beginning of the school year, we have this new season energy coming. We have the autumnal equinox in September, and also September is my birthday month. So it feels like a month full of new beginnings. It really feels like a new chapter and new energy. And that is emphasized and compounded even more this month because the very start of the month, we have the new moon in Virgo. So today we are doing a little new moon ritual together. I thought I would bring you along for my new moon ritual. I just had this idea for this ritual come to me, and I've never done a ritual quite like this before, and this felt really intuitive, and I was like, I need to do this ritual. And so I thought I would just bring you guys along for the ride. I'm taking bits and pieces of different rituals I've done and different lessons I've learned and been taught, putting it all into one for this new moon ritual. So we're going to do it together, and I'm really excited. Honestly, the first thing you want to do is reflect on August and take that time to process what came up for you in August, what lessons you learned, what you're ready to release, what you're ready to integrate, and what you're ready to embody, and everything that August held for you. If you need support doing that, reach out to me. Also head to our Instagram. We've put up some reflection journal prompts and tools and practices on there that I think could be really helpful. Also, Substack and our blog and the Intuitively Wild podcast, where we are going deep on August reflections and setting intentions for September, which is the next step. Once we've reflected and released and integrated, we can step into the next chapter with ease and grounding. Our reflections are a way to allow the past to inform our future and not dictate and control our future. I think that without that pause, without that integration process, we are just going, and moving from this constantly activated, stimulated, distracted place. And therefore, our conditioning and past behaviors and thoughts and stories are taking the lead versus coming from a place of presence created by space and softness and slowing down and having that pause, and therefore moving from a conscious place of who do I want to be now? What did I learn? What am I releasing from that? What am I bringing with me from that? And who do I want to be now? So the first part of this ritual is to reflect. Once you have reflected, we'll hold an intention setting process. So again, you want to set intentions for the time to come. In a previous YouTube video, I talked about the importance of intentions and my belief around why intentions are integral to an intuitively wild life, to a fully alive and present life. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, head over there. But we're coming into this ritual already reflecting and already setting our intentions. And I go into my intentions for September in the intention setting episode of the podcast. But my biggest intention for September is creating space for that in-between moment, creating space for presence, creating space to slow down, creating space to soften, and creating space for joy. The biggest thing for me this month is joy. I want to incorporate joy into my everyday and really be present with joy. I want to have a daily ritual around joy, and that can look and be different every single day, but that's my intention for September. So I'm bringing that intention into my ritual for the new moon, and you can bring your intention into your ritual, really personalize it and connect to what is right for you, what your intentions are, what your visions are, what your intuition is guiding you towards. With that being said, I'm going to talk about what we need for this ritual. So we're going to have some herbs that we want to use. And one that I think everyone should have is some cinnamon. I have some cinnamon sticks here, and I also have ground cinnamon. And then the next three are personalized to my intentions and the energy I'm feeling into for September. They're really impactful and useful for everyone for this month, but you can feel free to swap or adjust however you feel fit. First, sage. I got this at the farmer's market, and I'm using sage for clarity, connection to my intuition, connection to nature, grounding, and just full-bodied inner trust and confidence. Next, calendula. This really is to connect to the last bit of our summer sunshine and connect to joy. And then rose. So another big intention for me is around love in all forms and all types of relationships, and of course, primarily self-love. So those are the herbs I'm using. I also am then using my intention oil from the Intuitively Wild Apothecary. And then 2 candles. Let me explain the candles. So I have this old candle that is almost done, and I burned a previous new moon's intentions in this candle. I don't know how I started doing this, but on the new moon in Leo in August, I took my intentions from July's new moon and burned it in this candle. And now this candle is almost done, and I'm seeing it as my intentions coming to fruition. And now I have a new candle, and I'm going to take my intentions that I wrote on last month's new moon and burn it in here and trust that those intentions are getting solidified and embodied and integrated through my burning of this candle throughout the month. And then I will be writing out my new moon intentions for this new moon. And I'm not burning those yet because I'm focusing on them in the present moment. I'm really consciously integrating them and consciously embodying them and taking action on them. And then next month I'll burn them as more of a spiritual, energetic intention that will just surround me through my candle burning. So take with that what you will. Next, of course, we have our incense already burning. I'll also be using this incense that I can hold and utilize more through the ritual. And then I have my altar. So my altar is very special, very sacred to me. I got it a couple years ago and it has traveled with me. I packed it in my bag to the UK. It was not really economical, but I did bring it. And as you can see, my altar is actually set up still from the new moon in Leo, but we're going to completely wipe the slate clean and start the process anew. You can use whatever you want as your altar. You can use a corner of the room, you can use a table, you can use a special actual altar, whatever feels right for you and that you have on hand right now. And then, of course, anything you want to put on your altar, any crystals, any symbolic stones or cards or anything that represents your intention, that go crazy, do all the things, do nothing, whatever you feel called to do. Okay, let's get into the ritual. Oh, and then of course our journal as well. A journal, a piece of paper, something that you can write your intentions on. I recommend doing this outside because we are going to be putting the herbs on the ground, or at least I am, but you can do this somewhere inside if you want to. To give you a little heads up, we're going to be creating kind of a mandala with our herbs. So if you want to do that in a small way on a table or as your altar, whatever you have the space for, I decided to do it outside because I also liked the idea of it being impacted by nature. I know that the wind and the rain and the elements are going to mess up this mandala, and I love that idea because I think that fairies live in the wind. I think that spirits are surrounding us, and I think that having them play a part in the ritual helps bring that energy out and brings their impact, their magic into the ritual. But that's just me. New moons are really a time for setting intentions because they hold the energy of bringing our intentions out. They hold that manifestation energy, if you will. So it's a really powerful time to connect to your visions, to your intuition, to your intentions, and put that energy out into the world. If you want support with that, again, our intention oil is on the online apothecary, and also we have our new moon tea, which of course I've been drinking all day. Let's sit down for a second. I start by putting on some of the oil. That helps ground me. It helps slow me down. It helps me connect to my body, and it just brings a little bit of softness into the moment. Also, the intention oil is, of course, made with herbs that help us connect to our intention. It's infused with the energy of the full lunar cycle. You can use any oil that you have on hand or any body lotion, even if there's no connection or symbolism within it of connecting to your intentions or manifestation or the moon. I think the act of taking time to nourish our bodies and to connect to our bodies is really powerful and really, really healing. Next, we're going to grab our journals and write out our intentions. I will do a much longer journaling session later. Like I said, done my reflections, gotten clear on my intentions, and will honestly do more journaling about the new moon and September later. But for now, you just need a small piece of paper where you're going to write your one sentence intention and a couple words. And then I always rip it out of my journal. So for example, this is mine from the new moon in Leo. And it just has a couple words that I was holding on to for that lunar cycle, my intention, and gratitude. This can be your time to reflect, to meditate, to ground, to breathe, to create space for yourself to slow down, to journal and set intentions for September, for this new moon. This can be intentions for the next 2 weeks until we get to the full moon. This can be intentions for the next 6 months until we get to the Virgo full moon during Pisces season. I tend to do these intentions for the full lunar cycle. So until the next new moon, I am focusing these intentions. And you want this to be something that you are going to look at every day to remind you to reconnect and recommit to your intentions. Like I said, I tend to have one sentence, a couple words, and then a couple action steps to how I'm going to really embody that and embrace that in my life. So next I'm going to take my altar and take everything off of it, holding on to my intentions from the Leo new moon. And once you've written out your intentions, you can rip them out and just keep them with you for a second. And now we're going to refresh our altar and take everything off of our altar. So now we have our blank canvas, our blank altar, and it's going to be the center of our mandala. So I'm going to position it where I want it to be. If you're just going to put the same things back on your altar, then you don't have to refresh it, or if you don't feel like you need to do that, don't. I like the symbolism of it. Sometimes I switch things out if I'm not using all my crystals, or if I got something new, if there's some sort of talisman that really represents what my intention is for this month, I'll put that on. But there are some foundational pieces that I put on my altar almost every month, and that's the same this month. So I'm just going to put them on. And one reason I like to take them off and redo it is because it then connects me with what's on my altar and the meaning of them and why they're so important to me and what they mean to me, what they mean to my intention, what they mean to my life. Because these pieces on my altar are really, truly like my overall intentions for life, not just the underlying intention for the month. I also like to position things differently on my altar sometimes, depending on what crystals I'm using or how I'm feeling. And I'm going to take my paper that I wrote my new moon intentions on and put it in the center of my altar. Oh, and I think I forgot to tell you what these cinnamon's for. Cinnamon's a really beautiful herb for any and all magic, any and all intention setting rituals, any and all intentional acts, any and all rituals, because it brings in abundance. It also brings in protection, and it emphasizes, expands, and reflects back the magic that you are creating. Okay, we have our altar all set for the month. Now we're going to take our intentions from last month. This can also be for you, something that you reflected on from last month that you are releasing or letting go of. That is a really beautiful practice as well. I tend to do that more on the full moon. For me, I'm not releasing these intentions. I'm putting them into my body more. You know, the ones I'm setting now are ones I'm stepping into and embodying. And the ones that I'm burning from last month are ones that I'm acknowledging are now a part of me and a part of my life. Grabbing last month's intentions, I'm starting a new candle, and this is just representing the new energy, but this can be any candle for you. I'm just giving you guys different ideas. I hope that inspires you. And you can see how it is with this candle. Not all of it completely burned because I put it more in the wax than just right in the candle, and that way it's still kind of there. It's burning throughout time and not just in that moment. We're moving on. We've set up our altar. We've burned last month's intentions. We've established this month's intentions and put them on our altar. And now I'm just going to burn a bit of incense. And incense sticks like this, I love because you can hold them in your hand and kind of walk around the space while you think about your intention. I do this in my house all the time. And then we'll just let this guy burn with the other incense we've got going. All right, now we're moving on to making our mandala. So we're going to start with our cinnamon. Like I said, this is kind of like the foundational herb for protection and magic and abundance. I have 7 cinnamon sticks. I feel like I could have used more. You know, people throw salt over their shoulder. That's kind of how I treat cinnamon. If you're doing this outside, you want to make sure you're doing it where you're not welcoming in any unwanted animals. Okay, we got our cinnamon, we got our sage. Now we are moving on to the calendula. And while you're making your mandala, you want to be thinking about your intentions, the energy you're calling in, what these herbs represent. You want to be present. And lastly, our rose. You can see the wind is already impacting it and already picking up, but for me that's just a sign that the magic's being recognized. And now I'm just going to sprinkle some cinnamon on top of the whole thing. And yes, it does sound like a recipe. Okay, after you've done that, I recommend meditating for a bit and just sitting with the energy that you called in and noticing how you're feeling. If you feel any goosebumps, if you're getting any messages, if you're feeling any sort of anxiety or excitement or any emotions that are coming up, any sensations that are coming up, any thoughts that are coming up, and just connecting to that and feeling into that, maybe journaling about it. I also recommend doing some breath work and some asana, maybe just some gentle stretching or putting your bare feet on the earth, some grounding. If you want more guidance on that, head to our Substack, head to our podcast. It's all there. Or if you want to create your own personalized ritual with support, you can reach out to me and we can do that together. This was not supposed to be a shameless plug, but this is my joy. You want to do something to seal in your intentions and to finish your ritual. I always put a hand on my heart and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. I repeat my intention, and then I say, this ritual is now complete. And then I will blow out my candle, but we're outside and my candle already blew out. I've never done this in this way before. I've definitely never done it outside and left it to sit. I do always leave my altar out overnight to soak in the energy of the new moon, the full moon, whatever phase of the moon it is. So my altar will sit out for at least a day. I might leave it out longer as long as it doesn't rain. And that's the end of our ritual. But that's the end of our new moon ritual. But it's not the end of the ritual actually, because actually you want to connect to this ritual every single day in some way to embody your intentions and to really integrate them into your life. So yes, this ritual is so powerful in and of itself, and you can feel the energy building, and you can rest assured that your intentions are out into the world and they are happening. And at the same time, creating daily rituals in your life to connect to every day allows you to actually embody and take action on those intentions with more presence and intention. How many times can I say the word intention? Because creating your life, manifesting, living an intentional life is not just about setting the intentions. It's also about taking the action with intention and with alignment. So yes, our ritual for now today is complete, but this energy is what you want to connect to in your daily rituals and what you want to hold present in your life and what you want to take action towards in your life. This was so fun to bring you guys into a little peek behind the scenes of rituals I get up to on my own. Thank you so much for being here, and until next time, stay intuitively wild.